The Bermuda Triangle is a place where ships and planes have disappeared, a place about which people make up legends and make films. It is imbued with symbolism, mysticism, and riddles, and strange stories of disappearances continue to appear day after day. But still, what is wrong with this triangle, and what did the people who managed to get out of it tell? Let's figure it out. The Bermuda Triangle is located between Bermuda, Miami, and Puerto Rico. The boundaries of this area create a well-known figure. In fact, that's what it was called, a triangle. Strange things began here a long time ago, from the very first records of travelers. They were the ones who recorded dozens of mysterious disappearances, expeditions, ships, and even entire planes. And to this day, when it comes to the secrets of the Bermuda Triangle, they are overgrown with even more mystical theories time after time. And as a rule, the more incredible the version, the fewer people believe in it, and still in vain. Today, we will consider one of the most mystical places on planet Earth. Remember how many films were made about it, how many books science fiction writers wrote? This topic is unexplored and relevant to this day. And I will try to understand this strange phenomenon. The phrase, the Bermuda Triangle, began to take root with the help of American journalists back in the last century. In the 70s, countless publications were released on the topic of the mysterious disappearances of planes, ships, and, of course, people. The flywheel of sensations was launched, and the public was increasingly waiting for new details about the mysterious anomaly, which not only amazes with its phenomenon, but can also be dangerous. This name was introduced into circulation by publicist Vincent Gaddis. The article was called The Deadly Bermuda Triangle. That's it. Printed media were launched, and the news flew to ordinary people. I wonder if publications were launched only in the 70s, then what was before that? And before that, there were simply no sensations. Ships disappeared, planes crashed. But people were not told about it. Actually, just like now, we know only 1% of all the news. And why more, you must agree. Therefore, it is wrong to say that similar events did not happen in the Bermuda Triangle before. After all, the episode that happened in the distant 1840, long before the first publications on this topic, gives rise to strange thoughts. Then the ship, Rosalia, was discovered near the Bahamas. The ship had supplies of drinking water and provisions. The ship's cargo remained intact. The boats were in place. But the crew of the Rosalia mysteriously disappeared. Of the living creatures on board the ship, only a canary remained. In general, in the 19th century, many ships found their death in the waters of the Bermuda Triangle. However, if you think about it, there is nothing unusual about the disappearance of sailing ships and their crew members. Even for experienced sailors, the ocean has always been fraught with many dangers. High waves, strong winds, and treacherous underwater rocks have always posed a great threat to flimsy vessels. But what about the disappearance of large ships without a trace in the 20th century? Most likely, the triangle would not have attracted so much attention if only ships had become its victims. Indeed, this part of the Atlantic has always been a very dangerous place for sailors. But the whole complexity of the situation lies in the fact that not only ships but also planes disappeared without a trace in the Bermuda Triangle. One of the first pilots to encounter an inexplicable anomaly was the famous American test pilot Charles Lindbergh. On February 13, 1928, Lindbergh, flying over the Bermuda Triangle, witnessed a strange natural phenomenon. The plane was enveloped in a very dense cloud, similar to a thick fog, and Lindbergh, try as he might, could not get out of it. The compass needles seemed to go crazy and began to rotate randomly. Only great experience helped Lindbergh to save himself, and when the cloud dispersed, the pilot was able to reach the airfield, navigating by the sun and the coastline. And here we return to the story of 1945, which truly shocked everyone. 5 torpedo bombers took off from the U.S. Naval Base in Fort Lauderdale and simply did not return. Of course, no wreckage, no bodies of the dead were found. Strange, isn't it, that a squadron of 14 experienced pilots just disappeared into thin air? And this mystical event happened in clear weather over a calm ocean. In the surviving radio communications with the base, the pilots spoke of inexplicable failures of navigation equipment and unusual visual effects. We can't determine the direction, and the ocean doesn't look like it usually does. We're descending into white waters. The pilots said, "White waters." Do you know where this strange phrase came from? Some believe that all this is connected with the fact that Atlantis is located somewhere in these waters. Supporters of this hypothesis cite a number of irrefutable, in their opinion, facts. In the times of Atlantis, the most necessary and powerful things were considered to be single crystals. They were used as a fundamental source of virtually free energy. They were used in all areas. The red-handed Atlanteans, using their knowledge, found a quartz vein underground, wide and shiny, like the Amazon River. They cut out from it a solid monolith the size of a lake, and this monolith was the source of energy. The concentration of energy of the sun's rays passing through the numerous prisms of this stone reached such a colossal value that it could be transformed and transmitted to the entire territory in the optical range of waves. This crystal was used by the dexterous Atlanteans constantly, both day and night. Solar energy was accumulated in huge quantities. It was stored in special copper containers, and the surplus was used to illuminate the coastline of Atlantis at night. Edgar Cayce reported that this stone is still resting on the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean in the Bermuda Triangle, where it is charged with energy from time to time and destroys ships and planes. The version is certainly fantastic, but there is a grain of truth in everything, and sometimes more than we think. Scientists are, of course, sure that no mystical phenomena were revealed to us or our ancestors. It is just that our Earth, with all its wonders, is too complex an object for humanity to study and understand. Scientists say that the whole mystery of the Bermuda Triangle is hidden at the bottom of the ocean. Seismic activity at the bottom of the triangle can cause magnetic disturbances, which, in turn, affect the operation of navigation devices. Some scientists consider methane emissions as a possible cause of the death of ships and planes. According to this theory, huge methane bubbles form at the bottom of the Bermuda Triangle, the density of which is so low that ships cannot stay afloat and immediately sink. No matter how plausible these versions are, they all have one drawback. None of them have found practical confirmation. In addition, magnetic storms, methane emissions, or thunderstorms cannot explain the movement in space. After all, the bottom of the triangle has one of the most complex reliefs in the Atlantic Ocean. The triangle is crossed by a huge depression, the depth of which reaches 8 kilometers. This in itself does not explain the death of ships, but it makes it almost impossible to find sunken ships or planes that fell into the ocean.